Imagine boarding a plane for what should be a normal flight. A few hours later, a man quietly hands a note to a flight attendant. Inside that note are words that would launch one of the biggest manhunts in American history. The man claims he has a bomb. He demands money. He demands parachutes. And after receiving everything he asks for, he jumps out of a flying airplane into the darkness. No body is ever found. No parachute is ever recovered. No one knows whether he survived. More than 50 years later, investigators still cannot answer the question. Who was D.B. Cooper? And how did he seemingly vanish without a trace? Tonight, we are diving into one of the most fascinating unsolved mysteries ever recorded. The mystery of the man who hijacked a plane, stole $200,000, and disappeared forever. The date was November 24, 1971. The location was Portland, Oregon. A middle-aged man walked into the airport and purchased a one-way ticket. His name on the ticket was Dan Cooper. Nothing about him seemed unusual. Witnesses describe him as calm, polite, and well-dressed. He wore a black tie, dark suit, and sunglasses. He appeared to be an ordinary businessman traveling for work. No one had any reason to suspect that history was about to be made. After takeoff, Cooper called over a flight attendant. He handed her a folded note. At first, she ignored it. Some passengers occasionally handed phone numbers to flight attendants. She assumed it was something similar. Then Cooper leaned toward her. His voice was calm. "Miss, you'd better look at that note." When she opened it, her heart nearly stopped. The message claimed he had a bomb. To prove he wasn't bluffing, Cooper opened his briefcase. Inside were red cylindrical objects connected by wires. Whether it was a real bomb remains unknown. But to the people on board, it looked convincing enough. Cooper then made his demands. $200,000, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck waiting when the plane landed. Authorities suddenly faced a nightmare. As the plane circled in the air, authorities scrambled. The passengers had no idea what was happening. Meanwhile, the FBI and airline officials worked frantically. Every minute mattered. Nobody wanted to risk provoking the hijacker. Eventually, the decision was made. Give him what he wants. Save the passengers. When the plane landed in Seattle, Cooper received the ransom. $200,000. In today's money, that would be worth well over $1 million. He also received 4 parachutes. Then something surprising happened. He released all of the passengers. Only a few crew members remained on board. The nightmare should have been over. But Cooper wasn't finished. The aircraft took off once again. Outside, darkness covered the sky. Rain fell across the Pacific Northwest. Strong winds battered the plane. Most people would never consider jumping into such conditions. But Cooper seemed completely calm, almost as if he had planned everything. At some point during the flight, Cooper ordered the crew into the cockpit. He was now alone. Minutes later, instruments detected movement. The aircraft suddenly shifted. Investigators believe this was the moment Cooper opened the rear staircase, the moment he stepped into the freezing night, and the moment he vanished. When the plane landed, Cooper was gone. The FBI launched a massive search operation. Forests were searched. Rivers were searched. Mountains were searched. Hundreds of agents worked the case. Nothing. No body. No parachute. No trace. Did Cooper survive? Experts remain divided. Some believe he died during the jump. The weather was terrible. The terrain below was unforgiving. Others disagree. They point out how calm and prepared he seemed. Some investigators believe he had military or parachuting experience. If true, survival was possible. In 1980, nearly a decade later, something unexpected happened. A young boy discovered bundles of cash buried near a riverbank. The serial numbers matched the ransom money. It was the first major clue in years. But instead of solving the mystery, it created more questions. How did the money get there? And where was Cooper? Thousands of suspects were investigated. Countless theories emerged. Books were written. Documentaries were produced. Yet no one could conclusively identify Cooper. The FBI spent decades trying. The mystery refused to die. Even today, amateur investigators continue searching for answers. DNA analysis, facial reconstruction, Historical research. Every few years, a new suspect appears. And every time, the mystery survives. More than 50 years have passed. The world has changed. Technology has transformed society. Humans have walked on the moon. Yet one question remains unanswered. Did D.B. Cooper die during his jump? Or did he pull off the perfect crime? Perhaps somewhere, hidden among forgotten records and lost memories, the truth still exists. Until then, D.B. Cooper remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in history. A man who stepped into the darkness and was never seen again. Many people believe Cooper died during the jump. The weather was terrible. Visibility was poor. The landing area was dangerous. If he landed incorrectly, survival would have been unlikely. However, supporters of the survival theory point to several interesting details. Cooper remained calm throughout the hijacking. He appeared knowledgeable about aircraft operations. He knew exactly what equipment to request. And he never appeared nervous. These details suggest planning. Some believe he carefully studied the aircraft and escape route long before the hijacking took place. If that is true, survival becomes much more believable. One reason the D.B. Cooper mystery remains so famous is because it resembles the plot of a movie. A mysterious stranger boards an airplane. He demands money. He receives the ransom. He jumps into the darkness. And then he disappears forever. No verified photographs after the crime. No confirmed sightings. No proven identity. Nothing. For decades, people have wondered whether Cooper managed to commit the perfect crime. A crime so successful that even the FBI could never solve it. Perhaps the most fascinating part of the mystery is not the hijacking itself. It is the uncertainty. Humans naturally want answers. We want clear endings. We want to know who was responsible. But the D.B. Cooper case refuses to provide that satisfaction. More than 50 years later, we are left with questions. Who was he? Why did he do it? Did he survive? And if he did he spend the rest of his life knowing he had escaped one of the largest investigations in American history? Maybe one day a forgotten document, a hidden piece of evidence, or a family secret will finally reveal the truth. Until then, the legend of D.B. Cooper lives on. The man who stepped out of a plane into the darkness and vanished without a trace.